Okay, so I wanted to make a tier list of all the gaming mice that I used this year. So all of these are mice that I either purchased this year or was sent to me this year. And if you've never used or seen a tier list before, it's basically a way to sort out or categorize things, right? So you just have a pile of stuff and you just put them into the different categories from the best to the worst category. But the thing to keep in mind is that just because I place a mouse into the worst tier, which would be a tier D, it doesn't mean that it's a terrible mouse for everyone. It just means that I personally didn't like it. So I try to explain why I place each mouse into their respective categories, but it's just a very opinion-based video. This is not like some master technical review of these mice. It's just a very lighthearted, fun thing. And I really think that you guys will have different tier lists than me. It's just the way that these things work, right? Okay, let's begin. So the first mouse is the RAZER DEATHADDER V2 Pro, and I would place this right in the middle, a B. This is a mouse that I don't have strong feelings about this either way. It's not a great mouse to me, it's not a terrible mouse to me. It's a very generic, high quality wireless mouse. This is, if I'm not mistaken, at least RAZER markets it to be the world's most popular gaming mouse because it's, they've sold millions of these things because it's such an old shape. But I don't like it because, well, it's shaped. I don't like right hand only or left hand only mice. Like I like my ambidextrous shaped mice. And this is a really large mouse. It's just like, it flares out a lot at the tips and it's just a very high mouse. I don't love this thing, but it's a solid B. So in the B category it goes. The next mouse is the Logitech G Pro X SUPERLIGHT. So this is a mouse that super popular. I think most people making tier lists on these types of mice would probably place it as an S or an A tier. Most likely an S tier. Personally, me, I'm going to place it as an A tier because this is a micro USB based mouse. This thing should have been charged with USB-C and they could have done it right. So many other Logitech devices use USB-C and this is their high-end, like premium gaming mouse. It should have been USB-C. It isn't. And I think they did it with intent. That's why it deserves to be an A. If they couldn't, they were like struggling to make this thing fit a particular budget and they had to, right? Then it would still be an S tier. But no, they could have done it, but I feel like they intentionally put it as micro USB to make people buy the future USB-C version of this mouse. That's just my take on it. But it's a really good mouse, and I wish I could place it as an S tier, especially because it's white, matte white. It's a sick mouse. But it's an A tier. I'm sorry. At least, yeah, it deserves to be an A tier. Maybe we'll bump it up to the S, but it's an A. Next is the AEROX 3. This should have been a better mouse. I feel like this was a excellent idea of a mouse. Like they got a lot of stuff right. And keep in mind that this was a mouse that they kind of hopping onto the train of the perforated mice with ultralight weights. This should have been an A tier or possibly even an S tier mouse. Like I just feel like they screwed up on one really big thing with this mouse. It was the feet. So these feet are terrible. Like the skates on the mouse, if you are into gaming mice, you'll understand the kind of importance of good skates, and they just have terrible skates to the point where I've been using this for about a month at this point, and they're flat. Like they're worn down to the same level as the plastic. So now when I'm using my mouse pad or any kind of mousing surface, it's starting to make noises, which is crazy. This is a 1 month old mouse. So I don't even think it deserves to be in the B tier. Like, let's be real here. Let's place it in C for now. I mean, otherwise the hardware is fantastic. It's just they really screwed up the skates on this thing. You know what? It's a B tier. Because I feel like you could fix it. If you wanted to, you get third-party skates or like replacement stuff and you could fix it, but that's a B tier for me. Okay, next we have the RAZER Basilisk. So this is a wired version of this mouse. I'll just show it real quick on camera. They had a new one this year. This one is actually a much older version, but they have a wireless Basilisk Pro or something they have now. I have a very strong opinion about this mouse. I've never purchased them. I don't like this mouse, and it's because, well, they copied. So there was a mouse called the Logitech G502. It was a very popular mouse at the time, and it's something that I enjoyed using. And because it was doing so well, because so many people enjoyed using that mouse, they straight up copied the shape of the G502 and they called it the Basilisk. And that kills me. Like, I feel like this was not their mouse shape to do that to. This is a very personal opinion, right? Obviously, tons of people like the Basilisk. And if I'm being completely neutral and not being, brand loyal or anything like that, I would actually say that Razer did a better job with this shape than Logitech did, right? They have a better mouse overall, but they straight up stole the design of the mouse. They straight up stole the shape and in the attempt of trying to take the user base, right? We have a mouse shaped just like the G502. Come buy our mouse instead. Some people don't care about that stuff. I do. I hate copycats. I hate them. So for me, Basilisk, rank C. Rank C. It's a good mouse. It's technically a very good mouse, but it spawned from thievery. So rank C. Okay, next up we have the glorious Model D. This is their new mouse for this year, the new wired mouse for this year. I'd place it as probably a B tier. I don't like the shape. Like, I feel like for people that do like that type of mouse shape, they probably love this mouse. It's well priced, really good performance, but because I don't love the shape, I'm placing it as a B. Again, it's one of those mice that I don't have a lot of opinion, like a strong opinion on, right? I've used it a bunch, but it's just like a generic kind of perforated mouse. I do want to say something about the perforation though. I feel like this whole, like, the holes on mice, this is just like, it's a trend, right? Clearly it's something that's hot right now over the past couple of years, and well, they hopped onto that wagon, but I don't really like perforated mice, so it's a B tier for me. Next up we have their wireless model. This is the glorious Model O wireless. I'd place this as an A tier. Number one, it's what do they call it? Ambidextrous. So I love that I like this mouse shape. But this deserves special mention because of its pricing. So this, you know what? I think this deserves being an S tier. This will be the first S tier for now. Even though I don't love the perforation, I think that because of the pricing and because of how good the performance is, and this is a company that listens to their fan base. They listen to gamers and they kind of pick out what is important, what is unimportant, and they make their products based on seemingly user feedback. But yeah, this is a solid S tier. It's got all the lights and stuff, but notice how I don't mention anything about RGBs because I don't care about that stuff. Doesn't affect me. But this is an S tier mouse, the first one. Yeah. All right, next up, another S tier mouse. This is, well, I have the wrong one here, but it's the same idea. This is the white Viper Ultimate. The one in the photo is the black one. This is my favorite mouse this year, especially the white one. But this was done so well. And unlike their copycat child, the Basilisk mouse, this was their original IP. This was their own idea, awesome mouse. And it fits perfectly, awesome performance, great color, good skates. It's a banger. So for me, this is clearly a S tier mouse. I just wish that I'd gotten the proper photo and gotten the white one in there. They also make the yellow one. If you've seen it in my Cyberpunk video, they have a fully yellow, tricked out Cyberpunk version of this mouse as well. But S tier. Okay, next up. This, straight up D tier. So this mouse was sent to me sometime in the summer, I think. And they were like, you're going to be the first person with this mouse. Please do a review for it. It's awesome. We're going to change the face of gaming. And it was a mouse that had a fan built into it. And the idea of it sounds cool, right? A mouse that has a fan to blow cool air onto your palm while you're gaming, gets rid of the sweat. It's a great idea, except it was so poorly implemented. So this is a very loud fan. It's annoying when you play in games. It's got vibration when you're playing games. And if you just crank up the fan and you don't even move the mouse, it'll move. Like the mouse just sitting there, the reticle moves because of the vibration of the fan. This is a terrible idea. I feel like this is not the first company that's tried it. Several people have tried, or several companies have tried to make mice with some kind of fan implemented into it. You guys have to stop trying because it's not going to work. That's a strong, hard D for me. All right. Okay, next we have the Logitech G203. I'd put this as an A tier mouse. So this is a wired mouse. They call it the LIGHTSYNC. G203 LIGHTSYNC. It lights up and it's a white colored mouse. This is an excellent mouse. It's on sale for like $20 right now. Like during the holiday season, this is a very inexpensive mouse. Excellent sensor, great performance. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of professional gamers used to use this mouse before they like got sponsored by the different brands and stuff. I think Shroud used to use this thing as well. So excellent mouse, highly recommend it. $20, came out in 2020. Okay, 2 left. This one, this one has a little bit of a story. So this is the Master Mouse 711 from Cooler Master. I'd place this in, it's a B tier. It should be an A tier if they tweaked a couple things, but I would consider this a B tier mouse. So this mouse is, well, there's 2 things I want to draw attention to. Number 1, it's the one and only mouse I have here that's a glossy white plastic. Like this should not be a thing. Mice should always be a matte material because it just has the least kind of grease effects, right? When you have shiny plastic and your hand gets a little bit greasy and it becomes a very slippery mouse. Their black version is matte black, but for whatever reason, their white material is shiny plastic. Oh well. Now the story behind it though is that this is a mouse made by Cooler Master. And a couple years ago, I did a video on one of the keyboards. I forget the name of the keyboard, but I didn't like the keyboard and I gave it a bad review. I had like, early access to this thing and I said it was not a great keyboard because I'm honest in my videos and they were like, they didn't like that, obviously. So when I asked them for the mouse, they were like, no, you can't get a mouse. So I had to buy this one, but it's a good mouse. Rank B. Okay, last mouse. This one, yeah, it's an A. It's not an S, it's an A. So this is the PWNAGE Ultra Custom, and it's a really good mouse. I don't place it as an S tier because I don't love the shape of it. It's a pretty big mouse, and it's a right-handed mouse. But if you're into those types of mice, you're gonna like this one. I feel like this mouse would be more popular if they spent more money on marketing dollars, right? They clearly don't sponsor, like the Twitch streamers and esports players, but if they did, I think this would be a really popular mouse. It has a crazy amount of customizability. Like you can pop off the back plate and switch it out to like the honeycomb material if you want to reduce the weight, and they have different colors and stuff. It's a solid mouse. It deserves to be an S tier if I like this mouse shape because it also has USB-C charging and everything, right? They nail a lot of stuff on this thing, but because of the shape, it's an A tier. And also, I wish the software was less ugly. It looks really cheap and sucky to me, but the rest of the mouse is solid. But that's basically my tier list. I don't think I would want to shift anything on the last minute here. Maybe the AEROX 3, like I'm disappointed in this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put this as a C. Because everything else in the B tier is noticeably better. It doesn't have good skates. And if you're someone who spent that kind of money buying that mouse and it wore out after a month, you'd be super disappointed. So yeah, I'm comfortable with putting it with the C. Yeah, beside the Basilisk. The thieving mouse. Okay, that's my tier list. I'm curious. Obviously, you guys are gonna have different opinions on all this stuff. Obviously, you guys are gonna have your favorite mouse. How far away is this from your list? What's your favorite mouse? Let me know. I wanna see it in the comments. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time.